The Lakers report by Chat Sports is exploding right now. Big reason for that, all of you for tuning in and watching the show. For those of you who haven't subscribed, do so right now by either hitting that big red subscribe button down below or go to youtube.com/LakersTV. Let this be your Lakers offseason hub for all of your latest Lakers free agency news and rumors, as well as Lakers NBA draft coverage, and help get us to 36,000 subscribers. The Lakers have some decisions to make this offseason when it comes to some of their young homegrown pieces. Kyle Kuzma just re-upped, signed a contract extension. He's on the books through 2024 for $13 million per year. Talen Horton-Tucker, who's really been a good developmental story, is a restricted free agent this offseason, so another team will be able to match or offer him a contract, and the Lakers will have to match that deal if they want to keep him on this roster moving forward. And Alex Caruso, an undrafted guy who's really exceeded expectations. He's been a very good defensive player and at times a solid offensive player and role piece, going to be an unrestricted free agent, so he is free to sign elsewhere during NBA free agency this summer. Rob Pelinka, he thinks there's a lot of value in keeping some of these young pieces under wraps on this roster and developing these young core pieces. This is what he had to say recently. The goal is to try to keep that core group together, and of course with players like Talen Horton-Tucker and Alex Caruso and Kyle Kuzma, players that you draft or bring into your two-way system and groom and develop, there's a level of pride in that and what the Lakers have been able to do with those players to grow them. So of course our intentions would be to keep our core together and to have a championship team. So that would be the answer there. I think that sheds some insight as to maybe what Rob Pelinka is thinking about when some of these Kyle Kuzma trade rumors come to surface, when Talen Horton-Tucker is going to be a restricted free agent, Alex Caruso free to walk if he does indeed please to do so. There is some value in keeping some of these players who have been on the team on the roster so that you can build camaraderie and continuity. The only thing is, Kyle Kuzma, after that disastrous playoff performance, is he worth $13 million per year? Talen Horton-Tucker is going to be a restricted free agent. So if another team offers him somewhere in the neighborhood of $10 to $15 million, can you afford to keep him, especially when you are cap-strapped and don't have a lot of money to spend this offseason and a lot of roster questions to address? Same goes for Alex Caruso. As for who the most valuable player is of the three, and if I could keep one of the three, because I'm considering some of these cap situations in play here, I think Talen Horton-Tucker brings awesome value to this roster as a guy who can play kind of a point guard role, but also a point forward hybrid role. He's really impressed me in terms of his development over the last couple of seasons with how far his game has come. We saw Alex Caruso's value in the NBA play-in game against the Golden State Warriors when he was able to put the clamps on Steph Curry late, and we know that a lot of defenders across the NBA have a bunch of trouble with trying to defend Steph Curry. Kyle Kuzma, on the other hand, if I'm Rob Pelinka, I'm trying to trade him this offseason. I think he's a stiff. I think he's somewhat of a fraud. And at $13 million per year, I don't think Kyle Kuzma is worth it. And I think his confidence is somewhat damaged. So I think he'd be better suited going somewhere else, especially when you factor in that $13 million per year salary when the Lakers don't have a lot of money to spend. And they could really, really use that money elsewhere to bulk up this roster, to build it around LeBron James as well as Anthony Davis. So who do you think is the best of these three players? All three could be back. Only one could be back. Maybe none are back when we look forward to the 2021-2022 season. Type T for Talen Horton-Tucker. Type A for Alex Caruso. Type K for Kyle Kuzma. Get your votes in the comment section and let me know what you're thinking. The Lakers report today is made possible thanks to our sportsbook partner, BetUS. I'm telling you right now, there's not a better deal out there from any sportsbook across the entire country. And with the NBA playoffs underway, I have been laying down some wagers, and your boy has been making some lettuce. So go to chatsports.com/Lakers, enter the promo code Lakers125, and you get a 125% deposit bonus. Meaning, if you put $100 into your account, you get $225 of free money to put some wagers down on, I don't know, odds to win the NBA title. Here are the updated odds according to BetUS. Nets -105, Jazz +275, Sixers +700, as are the Suns at 7-1, and the Clippers at 8-1. And for Lakers fans watching right now, if you want to fade the Clippers and you're hoping that they just get boat raced by the Utah Jazz, kind of like they did in Game 1 when the Jazz came back, fade the Clippers if you want. Odds to win this series between the Clippers and the Jazz, Clippers at +170, Jazz at -200. I think I'm going to go ahead and pick Utah in this series. You can get this deal if you just go to chatsports.com/Lakers, enter the promo code Lakers125 for that 125% deposit bonus. Another big offseason question for the Lakers, what are they going to do with Dennis Schroder? Man, he's going to demand a lot of money on the open market, and I don't think the Lakers should pay him that. Now, the Lakers did offer him, according to Brian Windhorst, a 4-year, $80 million extension, and I don't think he's worth it. Dennis Schroder, of course, set to be an unrestricted free agent, so he can test the waters and see kind of what his value is on the open market. And there's a new report from Ramona Shelburne of ESPN that the Lakers, throughout this season and during contract negotiations, really grew frustrated with Schroder's play, as well as how he and his camp handled those aforementioned contract extension talks. Here's what Shelburne had to say in that report. Schroder was supposed to be an age-appropriate complement to Anthony Davis, a playmaker and feisty defender who could ease some of the burden on James, but the relationship started off awkwardly, with Schroder stating publicly he expected to start even though he'd had success off the bench with the Oklahoma City Thunder and finished as runner-up in Sixth Man of the Year voting last year to Montrezl Harrell. And it got worse. With each long-term contract extension he turned down. So Ramona Shelburne here saying there were multiple contract offers to Dennis Schroder, and he turned all of them down, and I don't think he's going to get $80+ million. The Lakers acceded to his request to start and continue negotiating with his representatives on a rich contract extension, but his play on the court frustrated some in the organization, according to sources. By the trade deadline, LA was including him in trade discussions for Toronto Raptors point guard Kyle Lowry. I have said here on the Lakers Report by Chat Sports, it was a big mistake not pulling the trigger for Kyle Lowry, because I think in that first-round series against the Phoenix Suns without Anthony Davis, the combination of Lowry and James might have allowed you to survive that series without the services of AD. What did Dennis Schroder do in 2020-2021? He was solid. I wouldn't say he was great. And in the playoffs, without AD on the floor, he had an opportunity to prove himself, and he was a no-show. These are his regular season numbers here, and I thought with the eye test, he was even worse in the playoffs. Not as good as he was last year with the Thunder when he did finish up runner-up as the Sixth Man of the Year. And when you turn down a 4-year, $80+ million contract extension and you play like you did in spurts throughout the regular season, and you were a no-show in the playoffs with a team that is very tight on money with negative $9 million of money on the cap right now, I'm not signing you. So have you soured on Dennis Schroder? Let me know how you're feeling, and be honest with me. Type S for he is a stiff. Type R for I think they should re-sign him. Two polar opposites here, but get your votes in the comment section down below. The Lakers Report by Chat Sports is approaching 36,000 subscribers, and I'm telling you, this is your go-to spot for all of your Lakers news and rumors throughout NBA free agency. Be sure to subscribe. Either hit that red subscribe button down below or go to youtube.com/LakersTV.